Okay, so this is a totally accurate representation of the Grand Wagoneer and what I need to do to it. So yeah, I mean, I need to fix like most of that. A really big goal of mine is winter is soon approaching and I really want to get the whole frame done before the end of September, which is not that much time. It's like not even 10 days. So I know that's really ambitious, but I'm just going to be like working really hard trying to get it all done. Today is day one of frame repair. And what that means, I'm gonna have my greasy old paper with my diagram on it, and I'm gonna be going over right now all spots that I need to address. So maybe this less than 10-day challenge I'm gonna try and do is totally ridiculous, but I'm gonna try it anyways. Hopefully I can do it. So that's what this video is about. I'm gonna show you all the things that is wrong with my frame. Hopefully it's in one video. Okay, so starting up at the very front, some people call these horns, these guys right here. Normally you can't stick a pen through them, so I'm going to be cutting that out, replacing it. Forgot my light. Take two. Honestly, I'm surprised my pen worked, because I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, that pen ain't working at all. But it worked. Yeah, I was gonna point with the pen, then I was like, that's gonna be hard to see, so. This is passenger side, right in between the leaf spring. Also, I know that my drag link, whatever this bar is, I know it's not connected. The leaf springs are so flat that in order to take my oil pan off, I had to remove that because it was actually rubbing right up here. And you see that like very faint line right where the light is? It actually rubbed a hole in it. Yeah, the more I look at this, the more I am baffled on how I made it a 5.5 hour drive home. Because literally there was a hole in the oil pan, but there's so much gunk over the hole, it didn't leak. This hole is gigantic. It starts here. Yeah, here's a really good angle of these fuel lines. And this is why I said I'm pretty sure they were replaced, because they look really freaking new. And then there's like this stuff over here, which is like clearly not new. I am going to be redoing the shocks and the leaf springs as well. And then I also have a new brake kit all the way around. So yeah, right now just figure out the frame, and then that stuff will happen when it happens. The back of the frame overall looks really good, like even on this side, maybe here a little bit. I can address that. But a big part of back here doesn't really look too bad considering the rest of the frame looks like. So I'm gonna be focusing on the really bad stuff, and then if there's time, maybe I'll like get the surface rust off of this and see how bad it gets, and then I can make a judgment call then, I guess. Another part of the frame that I am gonna have to do for the back is I got an OEM trailer hitch that I do want to install, because even though this thing is plastic now, I'm still going to be using it and towing stuff, and maybe one day I'll tow the trailer. I don't know. Having this set up where that's an option to tow that isn't a bad idea. I'm definitely going to be putting on the trailer hitch. Yeah, so the frame on the Wagoneer is actually pretty interesting. So it's kind of a combination of like a fully enclosed frame around the engine and transmission. At a certain point right after the transmission, the frame just like turns into a C-frame that goes all the way back, which is like a really older style type of frame. I'm assuming they did that for weight reduction. Grand Wagoneers are very heavy. I don't know why else they would do that, but that is what I'm finding, and that's how I realized I was totally messing up my printed diagram. But yeah, there's a ton of frame parts that need to be addressed for sure. Also, I was able to get all of the bolts off for the front bumper, which is great because it means now I can go and get some more for the back bumper because I don't have any for that. Okay, it's kind of hard to properly identify everything that's been done to this Wagoneer because of how many owners it's had before me. Someone before me put in that diamond plate metal floor from front to back. That could have been the same person that put in a lot of the back part, like the whole entire back part of the frame from about like right here all the way to the back has been, I don't want to say replaced, but it's been repaired. And like even this piece here, that's 100% not a factory piece. It was definitely replaced. Just seeing how it's been welded in and things like that. Like it's strong, it's gonna do the job. But yeah, really like diamond plate. So yeah, it's like everywhere with the car. Okay, so that's the rough like mock-up, I guess, for where the frame needs work in the most urgent areas at the moment. I'm also going to be, I honestly thought the fuel lines that I had up, that I found or whatever, like the fuel lines, whatever, I thought they were like a lot worse, but they're not as bad as I thought they were. So I'm gonna see if I can save them. I might take them off so I can do the framework and then put them back on. If that's like a good idea or not, I don't know. Now what I need to do is, I got my plan. Now I need to get a bunch of cardboard, start cutting out a bunch of templates and whatnot, transfer them onto my sheet of metal, kind of cut that out of the metal, put the metal replacement piece where it's gonna go on the frame, then I can trace that out, cut it out, and then just weld that stuff in. I also wanna seal the whole frame when I'm done. I wanna paint it with like something that is gonna help it stay good. I remember painting the frame on the TJ, I just used like truck bed liner. I keep seeing ads, or not ads, I keep seeing posts online about like this Raptor liner. I don't know if it'd be good for a frame or not. I don't have any. All I have is Raptor liner. I don't have Raptor liner. All I have is truck bed liner, which is like the stuff I get from Canadian Tire. So if you're Canadian, you can go there. But yeah, let me know what type of sealant, I guess, would be appropriate to put on this frame to prevent it from getting bad again. Like, I'm not going to be driving in the winter. If you prevented rust and you have like a good system, let me know what it is. That way I can kind of share it with people who watch the videos, and you know, the good old beast will not be all rusty no more. Okay, so before I can kind of go to the next step with working on the frame, I want to make sure that like my shop and everything, my shop is ready to handle that type of job, I guess. And basically what that means, I gotta clean up a bunch of junk. Instead of just moving out of the way and then losing stuff, I'm just gonna install the radio. So, radio time. So I do have the manual, but I'm just gonna use the reference chart here. It tells me where everything goes, what spot, and the connector it needs to fit into, which is this guy right here. So I know basically all my points, I know what they need to go to. Things like this, I don't really know what the hell that's supposed to be. So I'm just gonna cut it out, and we're gonna go like pink to pink, purple to purple, because that's what it says here. Plus, looking at the old wiring harness, thankfully there was a couple stickers on, or a couple tags I should say, on wire, so I could tell what this red one was, which is power. And then even here, it tells me all of my speakers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see where these ones go. All right, for example, and then these two, I'm going to say this is rear. Yeah, so back right speaker. So I'm gonna assume that these two are the back right speaker there. And then I'm gonna look over here and I'm gonna say which ones go to the back right. I think it's 6 and 7 or 7 and 8 or something like that. Yeah, FRT is front. I think RR is rear. So, and then, yeah, so just follow that. Hope for the best. One bit of advice I would say is if you haven't done this before and you're gonna tackle it, like you're dedicated, you're gonna figure it out, do it one wire at a time. So it's a very gradual, just this thing takes over what the other one was doing. That way you can kind of simplify it, focus on one thing at a time, and before you know it, they're all hooked up and good to go. Another thing I recommend is I use heat shrink just because it means it's a lot cleaner. I've had in the past wires get disconnected. Thankfully they were just speaker wires, but you wouldn't want that to happen with like your ground or power because it could lead to not fun stuff like your car catching on fire. The last thing I recommend, if you don't already have it, I don't really promote tools and stuff. This makes a big difference. There's like, you can get ones with a bunch of different grades, like wire grades and stuff. So it really does, like the right tool can make a really big difference in terms of not will it work or will it not work, but how nice of a job you do. Alright guys, so I just finished up wiring up the new harness to the OEM radio. It was very simple because all of the wires matched. The previous wiring harness had different colored wires, so whoever installed that one would have had to have done a little bit of research on the OEM wires coming out of the dash in terms of what should be lined up to what. With me, because it was the exact same year radio, all of the colors lined up. There's 2 of each color and one has a white stripe. So you literally just match it up color to color and then you go from there. What I did though is I first did my battery, my ignition, and my ground, and then tested the radio to make sure that was working. It had power. I was able to change the channels. I couldn't hear anything though because obviously I didn't have any of the speakers set up, but it allowed me to know, hey, the radio is working. So if there isn't sound now, I know it's not the radio's issue necessarily. It's probably going to be a wiring issue with the speakers. However, before I even took out the old radio, when I was first driving it home, I was able to play music from the radio. I couldn't see which station I was at because that radio was busted, but it worked in terms of the speakers were giving sound. So hopefully, I'm just going to finish taping up these wires just so it's a little bit more secure. So hopefully when I plug it in and get everything set back to where it needs to be, it works just how it should. All right, so I have power. It should be working. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so the radio is working and I'm like so happy. When I turn the car off, it turns off. When I turn the car on, okay, so there's one last, also all the speakers work too. So one last thing I want to do is I just grabbed a cassette. I want to see, because this is the whole reason for the entire part of me installing this. I want to see if it takes cassettes and if you can read them still. Well, okay, I put it in. It's doing stuff. Please. It sounds like it's rewinding the tape, so I'm just gonna let it do that until something happens, hopefully. So this is definitely playing a cassette, because look, when I hit eject, it's going to change the song. So song stops, cassette comes out, and now this is the radio. Coldplay remix apparently. I think part of it is it just hasn't worked in such a long time, so it's going to take a little bit of getting warmed up to or something. I don't know. I was able to play cassette. I swear to you, this is true. And I'm so pumped. Now I can like actually build that center console and know there's a purpose behind it. All right guys, so that's going to be it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for showing your interest, watching the videos, subscribing if you have. Don't forget, if you want like more up-to-date updates, check out my Instagram. It's right here, and I'll post a lot of pictures and things like that of progress made. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time where I figure out another part of the frame, or I take one more step in the frame repair, because like there's many steps to it, at least with this thing. So yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is, I like this. I work on the frame a little bit, and then I do like a side project, because like there's so many. So like, yeah, see you next video. See me in the next video.